I just want to see how aggressive you can get, because Rakan, well, you probably get the Renata here coming through for the Kalista pairing, but what do you try and answer with? Because you kind of want something that can set him up and go for that engage, but so many of those tools have been taken away.
Ooh, I mean, Renata is available, but instead he's going to go for the Braum. They're looking for something a little bit more defensive. I mean, traditionally, Amarok has had a preference towards the Braum, we've said multiple times from KOI. Now, though, they typically want to lock in their jungler, but maybe they go towards the mid lane pool. They already see the Aurora. A choice has to be made between jungle and mid. And it looks like KOI are setting their sights on the mid lane. Ari for Jojo.
Yeah, I think basically saying, hey, look, we can still go towards the Lee Sin, we can still go towards the Diego if you really want to as well, and try and play through that. But definitely MOVISTAR quite taking an early game adaptation, so definitely a composition that wants to try and snowball. So it's going to be a case of trying to shut down this Draven and prevent FNATIC from really taking over as we enter into the later portions of the game.
Kalista, a champion that's known for her 2v2 dominance, but FNATIC answering back with the Draven Renata, a very powerful 2 versus 2 that I imagine KOI is going to look to try and swap out of in the early game.
I just question the pairing with Ari here. What have we got available? Sejuani's gone, Maokai's gone, the Vi especially, one of the most complementary pairings is gone too with the Zin's out.
I think it'd be Lee Sin or it'll be the Diego, which I imagine. These are kind of the picks that Wukong,
nice.
But basically these champions that can deal a lot of damage but lack the intrinsic setup, it'd be pre-level 6 is what I'd be eyeing up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going towards, honestly, probably the Wukong or Diego would be the one on my eyes.
Diego just found away. Good call out there, Dacta. Italy makes 3-4 junglers in total from FNATIC taken away.
Oh, okay, we're getting like Nunu, Volibear, Jarvan, we're getting really deep.
This is jungle! This is the angle!
I can see it. The road. What if we take away the Lee Sin, says FNATIC? And Razork pulls it out. Now options into Lee Sin, Jets. What do you got?
I mean, they're all banned. I think it's against Jarvan was the other one.
Am I cooking too much?
I think you're cooking too much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you didn't have the Renata, it'd probably make things a little bit easier. I think it's the same thing if you go towards like, yeah, I think you're...
They need CC like that.
Yeah.
And so that's where they're going to get it. I don't think Sion is a very reliable engage, but what are the jungler? Maybe Zac?
Do you like Kindred here?
I think Gragas does kind of work in an odd way, but I don't know if we want to go back to it. I know Ilya used to be very good on Gragas, but again, you're double AP mid, which isn't ideal, so...
I don't know, is the short answer.
We're throwing out a lot. I'm sorry for the overspeak. I'm just...
The J4.
See how we get
Jarvan, okay. I mean, quite frankly, they were lacking in engage.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think against Draven, it's not the worst. I'm pretty sure you can also interrupt the Draven EQ with your E on the Draven as well, which will make the engage a little bit harder, but at the very least, they have a way to start fights and they have the way to follow.
Oh, there it is, though. Against the tank. Free chomps, free lane.
I really like this draft from FNATIC.
Same.
I think that it gives you a lot of power early game. You win out on the mid jungle 2 versus 2.
Taking 2-0 start I've seen in a while. Can KOI start the reverse sweep? Can they fight back in what is a comp that by the first 15-20 minutes we expect to see 20 dead bodies on the ground as we enter Summoner's Rift for yet another game?
Let the bodies hit the floor as we get into game number 3. FNATIC set up here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Upset going for an early rapid fire cannon build and making sure that he's able to look for some of that poke as this game starts to go on, but looks like it's going to be bog standard lanes for the moment.
Okay, now, there is some all chatting, but it's all in Spanish.
Okay.
I'm currently using Google
So
Translate.
what it says is, Miran said, with the worst skin from the game, you're going to try and go against me. And then it hasn't changed Esta goated, but...
I think that means it's goated.
And then I cannot safely repeat the second sentence on broadcast.
He expressed his distaste towards Mirwin's opinion.
Yes.
Subsequently, that one wasn't censored out, but the other one was before. Well, we'll keep you updated with the all chat shenanigans. It feels like KOI have quietened it a little bit. I'm glad they're kind of bringing it back here after the first 2 games we've seen. We've already talked about the drafts and how they slot in. You guys talked a lot about the strength of the 2v2s, whether it's mid, whether it's top involved. We know Draven Kalista is like whoever snowballs in the lane, and this could help us. It's TP time.
It is TP time.
Because Oscarinen doesn't show. So, bye! collect all the Dragon Balls.
They know that his CP is gone. That they can say with confidence. They've successfully executed on the swap. And Oscar going to be in a bit of danger in this early game, but he's going to do his best to soak up what farm he can.
But the thing is, Oscar has that Q to actually start clearing out the waves from a range, which is something that a lot of these tank top laners don't have access to. Razork going to look to try and split the map, but look at where Yoya's gone. He's actually predicted this and is in position.
Mewin, he's just trying to soak up the wave, get level 2. It's a flash away immediately. Flag of Dragon's flash by Mickey. So Elyoya saving the day. Mewin will safely get the rest of this wave to the best of his ability.
So Elyoya tried to go for the extended flag and drag, using the flash to extend it and try and hit on towards Mickey. So that's why Mickey preemptively flashing away from that, not getting caught underneath the tower. But good read from Elyoya to keep his top laner safe.
Also as well, the fact that he didn't have to expend zombie form, the fact that, you know, he couldn't go back to lane, remember, because he doesn't have a TP. That's such a big save by Elyoya as well. While Oscar in the bottom side of the map, he's just trying to Q farm a bit here. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Carnivore in the lane swap. On the minions, he'll heal up, so a bit of sustain on this Cho'Gath. His heal's burnt. Mickey was about to die after Upset got the first shot, but Mickey took turret aggro.
He still died. I wasn't sure if Miro how far he wanted to try and step up there, but at least he's got Upset there to keep himself safe. But Mickey, I think, going to reset now and try and move down towards this bottom side to keep his top laner safe. But
I mean, he does have to push in mid, and he's got the support from his bot lane. Nice play there from Elyoya, playing with his priority well. I mean, what's Oscar really going to offer in this exchange, especially given the HP of Humanoid? Why is the Razork is going to have to back off his blue?
Yeah, but he does still get at least the grab for himself. You can see Mickey at reset to try and match on towards this bottom side. A bit nervous about a potential push in mid into a 4-man dive on the bottom lane, but they will just keep themselves safe. Mickey now going to try and freeze the wave, but Alfaro going to try and stop him. As we're going back to at least FNATIC looking to set their bot lane into the bottom side, but I wouldn't be surprised if MOVISTAR KOI try and go for a bit of a swap again.
Now wave crashing in eventually. I mean, it does feel pretty bad here. Q gets it out, but that's like 4 CS missed by Upset in the end as well. So you're feeling pretty good as that as Alvaro, as junglers are now heading towards the top side, or at least that's where Razork is going. And now that we're in standard lanes, I mean, that's got to feel good, guys, right, for Oscar, and considering that the Cho'Gath just wants to be up against the side. I don't know what your thoughts are on the early matchup, but at the very least, Cho'Gath, as he starts approaching 6, should just be able to get some free stacks in with Grasp.
I think it's a very boring matchup. The two top laners don't really do very much. I would expect that the Scion usually gets better trades early, but because of the sustain on the Cho'Gath, normally he's fine. And then at a certain point, I think Cho can start winning out on the matchup. But quite frankly, both top laners are likely just going to ignore each other.
I think Scion just struggles because he can't really charm or land his Q because he gets fear or
Humanoids
silenced and then knocked.
Maybe it's more exciting for you guys as well. We talk about top laners and we brew action in mid. Great flash charm from Jojo, but they need to get the priority damage, and Alvaro does. Opens the door for first blood.
Great play from Alvaro, the immediate Q flash, so Humanoid cannot escape it. It's at point blank range, and then Jojo able to follow up with the flash charm. Nicely done to pick off the mid lane for FNATIC.
Yep, nice setup play, and the fact that he was able to connect that passive, as you're saying, is just well executed by him. Razork going to catch this mid wave. Again, KOI off to a great start. They're a team that is so good at finding early advantages and setting themselves up for success. The problem often comes in the mid to late game when it comes to continuing that success. The 2v2 you can see going about very much as we expected. We know why KOI wanted to avoid this matchup, and it's because of this, but Jarvan's on his way here.
Yeah, Mickey might be in a bit of trouble. He used his flash before, doesn't have it to avail, and he's just stunned down, will not get bailed out. Upset now the new target. A good bailout in the end, or rather, handshake that bails Upset out. But KOI are on the board early again.
And consistently, look at the last game and this game, we're seeing these plays towards top side that MOVISTAR KOI are just getting to the punch quicker. They're moving Elyoya into position. So Razork, like, you think you're safe there. Razork is over towards the Void Grubs, but it's Elyoya who sneaks past that vision and ends up getting in onto the play on top side.
Mickey, it's become a trend in that top side as well. Mickey getting caught out, that early kill going over gives super gold. So I love that we're just rinse and repeating a little bit here. At least for bot side, the rinse and repeat is that Razork gets the early dragons, while Grubs is started up by Elyoya.
I mean, KOI just have advantages across the board when it comes to laning. Mirwin's built up a bit of advantage because of the early lane swap. The jungle camp advantage is in favor of Elyoya. Jojo Pion, especially thanks to that early gank. It was unfortunate he didn't get that kill, but he still finds the lead. Now, Humanoid making a play of his own.
Thinks about it with the Between Worlds. The charm's good there to go. And from Jojo, he skirts the fight. Alvaro's here to help out, but Humanoid is away.
Just a trade of ultimates. Not going to be too consequential at the end of the day. Humanoid wanted to go back to base anyway. And it looks like Jojo's going to stick around for one more wave, forcing Humanoid to actually stay for one more wave, giving Jojo that base timer advantage.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for Humanoid that he couldn't get the reset quick, but here you're on a ward as Oscar Renan.
Does he have to flash?
Is there enough damage? That's what I'm wondering about. The Ren Spears? No, indeed. And Doran Shield's going to help out a bit with that. So he just walks away while, again, Super trying to use that advantage.
It will mean he loses the wave, though, because that's going to hit the tower. I'm not sure if he sticks around, but maybe a little nervous as they don't know where Elyoya is. But that's a wave now lost for Oscar Renan, and he's kind of been struggling a little bit to get these waves. You can see about half a level behind his opposite opponent. So it kind of needed these extra few waves. So nicely done by Super to just disrupt that fix more.
I mean, I feel like, again, what we saw in the early game from Elyoya, that one gank, you know, bailed out a lot of pressure that came through from FNATIC. And Elyoya's been like that. I know we're not really seeing, you know, some of the picks that we came in today being like, man, Elyoya's good. I just want to pull out this guy quickly and what he did against Giant X, because if we're talking about engines, that's Razork. That's Razork. How about this one? Is that Elyoya?
No, that's
Razork. Razork's really good. We've got some FNATIC fans in our production team. I'll just pull it out myself. Elyoya was damn good in the Giant X series. I'll give you a quick hand. Don't press that one, Dagda. That'll be Elyoya.
But I think the thing is, like, let's just... No, that is
What's his last best of five? Elyoya.
So those you're saying Elyoya versus Giant X, Jake. What were you saying?
It was good. I mean, I lost my point years ago. But he was insane. I mean, Elyoya... We use the word engines a lot today, and I want it to be in people's mind. I want it to be like a train running. But Elyoya and Razork, they share this similarities because of how they run their teams. I guess it's experience, but it's also just level of skill, I think, especially from Elyoya's end.
But I do think in the early game, throughout this series, Elyoya, I think, has been getting the better of Razork, just in terms of his placement on the map, his ability to find these early ganks. And I mean, in the last game, think about it, he counter-ganked top lane, he finds a gank bot lane, and then he counter-ganks top lane again. It just felt like last game, at least early, he was reading the play very well, and this game he's already been able to find advantages, reading Razork very well on the map.
But this isn't the first time we've seen it. BDS did the exact same game plan. They just counteract Razork every time he tries to play around bot lane. What have MOVISTAR KOI done? The exact same. Now, though, Oscar Renan, nice sidestep. He was nearly going to be the focus, but it seems to be a bit of a trend now with teams looking at Razork saying, you're going to gank bot, but the 1v1, Razork also doesn't feel comfortable, so he's going to back away.
And just battle it out as we talk about him. He moves down, makes pressure known, steals away Scuttle, and clears vision in the same vein. I know we talked about him a lot when he came into the league as well. You guys are very passionate about the players here. I hope I am as well. But as I come in and learn, I just remember his debut on Mad when he made playoffs. Got to MSI in his first split, didn't he, as well?
Rookie the split as well, yeah.
It's crazy that he got top 4 at MSI in 2021. Elyoya's just been that jungler that just has it, you know? Just has that raw skill and talent, and still been able to provide that almost 4 or 5 years later here as bot side continues to push in. And in this game, things slowed down a little bit, but slowed down in the sense for FNATIC because gold keeps growing for KOI. Slowly but surely, this is a 3k gold lead, and Humanoid gets bopped out, does absolutely 0 damage. A decimating smash, part 2. And Mirwin just pressures out before these grubs spawn.
They're doing exactly what Dagda talked about last game, where they're just moving to the better lanes that suit them the most. They're finding advantages through the laning phase, which will set them up nicely for the mid-game team fights. At least this has been their game plan. It's just, I think that there was a comp difference in the previous game. This time round, I think they have the tools, and I'm a little bit worried about how their comp interacts, but they have great pick potential. They do have ways to start off the engage. You have to remember that I think the problem with the engage from KOI is that you can just flash away from the Jarvanel, and then once that's gone, what else do you have? Because sure, there's a Scion ultimate, but unless Ahri connects the charm, or if Super throws in Braum to get a multi-bat, like, it's difficult. So you're very reliant on finding these picks or on FNATIC misplays to really get a convincing team fight.
And it's also, as you say, burning those summoner spells before the fight starts off. So now you've got to double up on the amount of legwork you need to do. And it's also just, like, Mickey having access to this hostile takeover is perfect for when you try to blow those summoner spells, where you deny the follow-up and potentially even turn around the play just off of that one ultimate alone.
But hey, even with better engage tools, KOI haven't been able to find those mid-game fights. FNATIC have outplayed them and outfingered them a bit, as we've got a bit of a gank set up here. Teleport coming in, and that's Humanoid. He might be pretty weak here without an item, so we'll see how long Mirwin can sustain as Razor's also coming down to help out. Feast is going to make it a little bit easier though, and Oscar doesn't have it available, so it might not matter. He flushes towards his team. Alvaro's there, and again, that Scion is hard to kill. FNATIC walk in, now set up the Between Worlds, but where's the damage? They have none of it. A rend, a kill, and a feat of warfare. Oscar running for the hills because Koi are just stronger at this point with a second kill over to Super.
FNATIC had a ton of vision in the bottom side jungle of MOVISTAR Koi, so they were like, great, we can try and make this quick play on the bottom side, but they went for the tank. Mira's able to survive for way too long, and at that stage, the rest of MOVISTAR Koi show up, and Mickey needs to be careful, but the dragon will be going to... Yeah, it's better than MKOI or whatever it was, right? Yeah, so.
Well, Mickey stepping up. He still has the ulti available and a heal. He's trying to bait it out. Jojo Pune, though, without an ulti, still gets the charm onto the Cho'Gath. Oscarinin tries to rupture up, but he's stunned up instead. A Rend will just seal his fate, but there's not enough damage there either. He walks away with Heartsteel, and Mickey had to heal to save his life.
A situation that Koi convert in their favor once more. And notice the targets. You've got a Cho'Gath, you've got the Burst Mage of Aurora, and you've got a Lee Sin with Eclipse. Now, Lee, in theory, can help finish this off, but he flashes away from the Q. The shielding comes in from the Guardian, and then Jojo arrives. And this just turns into a numbers advantage, crucially because the AD carry is here. Upset's not in the fight. And the reality is that the three of them just didn't quite have enough damage to kill the Scion quickly enough before Koi could arrive and turn the play around.
And that was before the Blade of the Ruined King, by the way. So even though that was a slow burn from Koi's side in taking that target down, now with Blade of the Ruined King, now with damage on Super and the Malignants, first items across the board for Koi, they are even stronger than what you just saw.
It's also with the 6 void groups, the second you mess this up as FNATIC, your towers are just going to melt.
Yep.
You have to be so careful. Now MOVISTAR Koi trying to set up for that turret take as they move Mirwin to the top side as well, push in mid, immediate rotation. FNATIC, I don't think you can defend this.
Looks so hard, doesn't it? Again, you've got 15 seconds of turret plating, but they managed to find a way. The wave thinned out a little bit, or at least the health bars, and they just walk away. They don't overextend. I think Koi, if I was them right now, gents, I'd be kind of concerned with how these game paces have been going in Game 1 and Game 2. They've got a really firm lead here, and moving into the mid-game now, I think we want to see Koi clean this up, you know?
Yes, yes we do.
Yes, we do.
Game 1, I think their team fighting was really good. They executed their comp really well.
It's cheeky.
I mean, here comes Jojo
He's
from
got
the river.
Blade, by the way, so Oscarinen's going to be slowed, and this time the Rend will really do some damage. Malignance helps out as well. Jojo gets the orb, and Super gets the kill, number 3.
This time around, Super made it look easy. He just melted through that Cho'Gath like he was paper. You highlighted it, Hysterics. The Blade of the Ruin doing some serious work. And I just credit Koi for avoiding upset at all costs. Yeah. He has not been involved in anything that has been happening on the map. Look at the deaths on the side of FNATIC. The person that doesn't have one is Upset, and while that might seem like, well, Upset never dies, that's true, but they've also just avoided him like the plague.
And it's worked out in their favor. And now MOVISTAR Koi, they get the tower on the top side. Look at the push in the bottom lane. As soon as this next push comes through, they should be able to secure that one as well, although you are moving Lee Sin down to protect this. But across the board, it's just MOVISTAR Koi quicker on the map, dictating the tempo. And with 50 seconds until the Rift Herald, I think you play on this bot side tower, look to try and take it, and then rotate up for the Rift Herald afterwards again.
Oscarinen just takes a feast. It looks like he's not going to let the minions do the work on the turret. It's 35 seconds till Herald spawns.
35 seconds, and now, unlike the viewers at home who can just click on the screen and interact with our interface, we don't have things like the damage dealt this game so far. But what I can do is I can ask production to bring that up. So soon, hopefully, we're going to get to see how much damage everyone's been doing so far in this game.
Yes, okay.
And I'm curious, because we talked a little bit about Upset earlier, and I think that, again, I mean, right now, Koi are matching in terms of the mid lane, keeping the 280 carries aligned. The first item yet to quite be completed for Upset, but they have 4 members strong, and Koi are respecting the numbers disadvantage. But look at the freedom Jojo has on the top side of the map. Almost, he's about to get a full level over his lane counterpart. A good job in the side lanes.
Oscarinen's TP isn't quite up yet either, so if MKOI have timed this correctly, they can start it up immediately and know that they'll have the teleport advantage. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. You would have had to catch the top wave, so there's just no contest for FNATIC on these top set objectives.
I mean, it's clean, at least from Koi's side. Not overextending, just doing their setup. Ren comes through, Herald's down, 4.5k gold lead. Spain must be feeling pretty good about this one. but also I imagine quite nervous as well. Mid turret still standing there as Upset might be tagged up. Good charm as well. All in. Elyoya doesn't pop the ulti though. Upset's close to dying and he will fall. Super helped out by Jojo as that turret about to die. A hostile takeover, that's great, but again the Prom, he's had his wall up. Razor can't do a thing, and it's still a gold play.
There's a TP in behind them though. They want to keep pushing this.
Jojo has moments of his ultimate up and available. The charm misses though, and Humanoid gets out of there. Flag and drag away. No, FNATIC are finding an angle, and Koi need to find a better one on the Humanoid. They see Razork is in the kick away, so Super survive. It's still Mad Koi's game to lose, and they're going to win it with every part of their might. A decimating smash of Super. Now looks for his ankle to come in, and with all that CC, an easy another kill. They are not throwing this one away.
MOVISTAR KOI won the fight when they killed Upset, but FNATIC decided they wanted to keep going afterwards. Upset steps up for the wave. The charm from Jojo Pyun is perfect because it sets up then for Supa to get that little bit more alongside Jojo Pyun to finish off. But now Mickey ends up burning that ultimate to start things off. But at this stage, just call it. There's no more. You don't need to do anything else. But Humanoid goes in onto the back line, ends up missing the Q on towards Jojo Pyun, and then MTK or MOVISTAR KOI collapse. And who's dealing the damage to Supa? Who's the threat in this fight? There's nobody that can actually do anything for FNATIC.
I like the target focus that comes through from Koi. They path towards the flanker, guaranteeing a numbers advantage. They shut down the damage dealer of Humanoid to start off with on the re-engage, and then they turn their attention to the rest of the people, while Mirwin deals with whoever he can get in range of. 9 kills to 0. A convincing early game being turned into a strong mid-game. An 8k gold lead, and Koi are dominating.
There's your damage, Vedius, and Jojo's been hitting it a lot. There was a massive CS lead through mid. But you know, you talked about that plague. There's a 1500 damage Draven on our screens. So Upset has not played the game at all. And it is just incredible to see as Razor now looks for an angle. Teleport's going to be burned. That's Koi moving towards mid, and Mirwin just teleported in front of 2 people. Oscar in as well, looking for the flank while Elyoya, a flag and drag, sets him in, and Oscar just doesn't want to be here anymore. The reverse Sional sends him down and interrupt with the Dragon's kick, but Razor is just steamrolled by Super. Yes, they will not be throwing a single thing. In fact, FNATIC can't get a single thing in this game.
FNATIC look desperate. They're playing like their composition has twice the mobility that it actually does. And MOVISTAR KOI are like, great, you're TPing behind. We just turn onto the people behind. We have way more chase down potential than FNATIC does.
It's a near perfect game from Koi so far. The way that they found those early game advantages, the counter ganks from Elyoya, the kills that they are able to play, the counter plays onto FNATIC, and the way that they navigated around the lanes into fights like this, where FNATIC gets desperate. Humanoid attacking one flank, Razork attacking another, Mirwin disconnecting FNATIC completely. 3 members pushed into their own lane, while the front line just gets shut down.
And from this position, it's easy for Supa to chase people down, Jojo as well. MOVISTAR KOI are tearing FNATIC apart, and there is zero answer at this stage.
I mean, at this point, you got to give them credit. The way they've snowballed this game is crazy. A 10k gold lead at 20 minutes into the game. And while nothing's up, Razork here just fishing to see what he can get of his own jungle. Koi almost find him, but they back off. It's because Atakan's down bot and being started by Super.
The stack's already starting to stack up. FNATIC trying to gain entry, but Mirwin is going to stand strong.
Really nice stuff. The unstoppable onslaught at melee range. It tears FNATIC a new one. And Koi have dropped no margin in this game. They'll take the Atakan off the back of the fight, and FNATIC are looking clueless in this game. Game 1, Game 2, it was messy, but they found a road back in. But Koi have built this wall in front of them for this 3rd game, brick by brick. It's standing strong.
MOVISTAR KOI have figured out the mid-game. They have figured out FNATIC in game number 4, and they want to make sure that they can push us all the way.
I feel you, Dagda, because at this point, FNATIC are just running back 14-0. This 3rd game gives hope. It gives inspiration to the Koi fans. This will not be a flash in the pan. This will not be a disappointing 3-0. The start of the reverse sweep won't begin now, but the inhibitor down 13,500 gold. No, Cagel's 20k gold lead. It could be this game.
The legendary 20k gold lead. This could be the game. We'll look back at what was just another destructive fight in favor of Koi. FNATIC trying to gain access, but You go anywhere near the darkness, and Ari's lying in wait to charm you. The follow-up from Mirwin was beautiful. The double knockup into easy execution. They don't even have Super here. Jojo alone is largely doing the damage alongside Mirwin as they just pick apart the FNATIC roster. It doesn't matter at this point. The goal difference is just so massive. FNATIC should just be thinking about how they're going to adapt in Game 4.
But that's the question now for me, is what actually does happen, because FNATIC does not look comfortable in this composition. And we haven't really seen them go the distance when it comes towards Fearless.
Jojo might be caught out here, but nah, just forget about it. I mean, even with the ult from Upset, it doesn't matter. That Kalista has 3 items. This put in the list of 2 harders. Mid's going to open up as well. And Koi striving for the success of this game. 15-0. Will anyone die with Atakan? There ain't going to be a point on that board until it happens twice over. Humanoid jumps away. Jojo is looking for the sick charm. He might miss that, but Humanoid has to go back to the fountain. He's at half HP as minions start running in.
FNATIC will hold for the moment, it looks like. MOVISTAR Koi are just happy to keep this pressure up. There's nothing really that they have to fall back for until that 35-second timer drops down. So reset from Jojo, can TP back onto the map. But FNATIC, defender's advantage here, have healed and starting to move back out.
At this point, FNATIC's just looking for a kill. I feel like the game plan is, okay, for morale, we have to at least get on the boards, because Koi, the only thing they've lost is a dragon. Like, this is a near perfect game from Koi. And with the Baron on the cards, do you imagine? I say, no, it's not. I'm in at 45. We're still not even that far yet.
You're right. It's just incredible the resilience that you have in a 2-0. You know, 2-0 start after those games went the way they did. And the fact that in this game 3 is such a stomp puts a lot of hope that the series goes on a little bit longer. It's been bloody, it's been rigorous. It's now a 3rd Infernal into the mix. That every time I look at those stats, I realize I was like, I thought we're at 6% AD AP, then it was 5, I thought it was 4, now it's 3 all of a sudden. I mean, Infernal Dragon ever so slowly is becoming nothing. Since when was it 3%? No, just looking at those stats, since when?
It's still going to hurt if you get to Soul.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a position now as MOVISTAR Koi. Well, to be fair, I don't even know if we get there. It feels like at this stage with Baron in 50 seconds, you can easily just go towards that and just set up the play that you want to as MOVISTAR Koi. FNATIC have Oscar into face check, but he has an item and a hope that maybe he can be tanky one day, but I just don't think you're ever going to get there.
FNATIC doing
And of
including a
course,
vision. Yep.
now that they're winning, the all chat's back.
Okay. Update us of what's happening.
Super shared with the group that Upset Your Draven, kind of not Kalist. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, of course, they were very quiet in the previous game. You know,
It's also, I don't know if I can place this game at Upset's Draven.
I mean,
I
was going to say, of all the people to pick on.
I mean, again, he's had a pretty good series, but as Between Worlds is there, Humanoid just has to get out a little bit too deep, and Koi get a free ulti for nothing. Baron spawns in 3 seconds. And that's just there, as easy as you like. This Kalista with almost 4 items.
They got us excited, but I don't think there's enough objectives left after Baron.
Upset has done less damage than Mickey on
Well, again,
Renata.
I really want to emphasize that Koi did an incredible job of just avoiding any plays around Upset in the other game.
And FNATIC did a great job of fighting when Upset wasn't there.
That's also
that
very true.
helps, yes.
Yes. I mean, it was just, it's a situation where throughout this game, Koi's lane assignments were just always perfect. They already demonstrated it in game 2 and they got their lead. Dagda was running us through it. But here again in game 3, they've just done a really good job of controlling the early game, and now with the Baron, with a near 14k gold lead. Oh, will this be the kill?
I mean, that's some damage. It might have doubled his stats just in those 3 autos, but meanwhile, Mad ending the game. Excuse me, Koi. They'll run into the turrets, but the engages air runs up with a brilliant kick in their base. Super's got to flash away. The hostile takeover will just reach him in the end as well. Onto Alvaro. He's dead. They're 13,500 gold down. Surely not. FNATIC defending well. It's only 1 kill for now as Mir wins a new target, but a charm up and a decimating smash. Oscar almost bitten off too much.
Upset desperate, he needs that cash in, but he's just not going to be given it. Humanoid ends up sniping the kill in the back line. It's a silver lining on a still very cloudy day for FNATIC as MOVISTAR Koi
they still left the base in tatters.
I refuse to buy into any hype that FNATIC are ever going to win this game. I refuse. Even though this was one pick, their first kill of the game.
Nice job by Super there.
Very nice flash kick in from Razork. Gets the summoner spell out from Super. Super has to respect the Renata ultimate, but he still gets clipped by it, so that's why he was CC'd long enough to allow for the shutdown to come through. And if FNATIC didn't have to fight into that wave, they probably would have looked for a little bit more, but yes, this very much seems like a moral victory because they're able to get onto the board. It seems unrealistic to me that FNATIC could ever really turn this game around. Now, if this was FNATIC versus G2 and it was the other way around,
then you'd have a chance.
You'd have a chance.
Wiki, it's a small pick. Upset's going to be able to do a little bit more damage here, but when I say damage, let's look at the health bar closely. Jojo goes over the wall. Humanoid's caught out. Razork with a kick, though, onto Jojo. He has the Spirit Rush away, but Razork's then caught out. Okay, we're back to square one. Koi run into the base, and Elyoya happy to take this up. Never mind, it was a flash in the pan, however small, with the triple over to Super. Koi are going to keep the series running like a well-oiled machine. It never stops at the station, it just keeps going. It's going to pick up more fans, more people, more hype. The start of the reverse sweep is there. Only the beginning of all chat, I'm sure. And Koi moves to match 4 versus FNATIC.